Hello, everyone. For this case study round, I've got Honor Thy Father and Thy Mother. It's case 4 in section 2. So, this case study starts off placing you in the shoes of a patrol officer who's kind of cranky because he doesn't have his nightly coffee. He's already been on a bunch of calls and everything. Anyway, he gets a call, and he goes and he sees a woman who made the call. She's standing out in her driveway, and she seems very anxious and worried. So he asks her what's going on, and the woman says that she's very scared for her neighbor's safety. The officer questions her for about 5 more minutes. Come to find out that the neighbors, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, I think it's McGillicuddies. I'm just going to say the M's because I don't want to pronounce that every single time. But they're an elderly couple. Roy, who is the man, the father, he's in his 80s, and then the woman is in her late 70s, so they're very old. And the woman said that she's been hearing screaming, and she's noticed that the woman especially has got a lot of bruises on her whenever she goes out. She's always got injuries. She's nursing injuries. And the woman believes that the source of the violence is their son that they let live with them. He's recently divorced and seems to be very aggressive. So the officer calls somebody from APS, the Adult Protective Services, and the woman, her name is Elaine, shows up, and they go over to the house, knock on the door, and the woman comes to the door, and she has a black eye, and she's holding her wrist. It doesn't seem like she can move it very much. So the officer and the APS worker begin to question the woman, and she says that she fell down the stairs, but the officer and the APS official both concede that those aren't falling down the stairs injuries. And while they're talking, the son actually comes out of the kitchen and says, "Who the hell's at the front door?" And he is middle-aged, very large, about 230 pounds, and he's drinking. He appears to be drunk at the time. And he offers them a beer. They decline, obviously, they're on duty. And as the son's rambling on, they decide that they want to get inside the house and check on the man as well. So while they're talking to the son, they make their way inside through conversation. And they go and they look at the old man, and his bedroom is really nasty. His bed hasn't been changed in a long time. Just a really bad situation for a little old man to be in. And he seems as if he's bedridden and in a coma, or he's sleeping or what, because they didn't see any signs of consciousness, with him. So Bob, who's the son's name, the middle-aged son who's drinking, starts talking about what happened to his mother. So he asks her, "What did you tell them?" And she says, "Oh, I fell down the stairs." And he said, "That's exactly what you did." Seems very manipulative. But the APS worker tells us, the officer, that he might be able to get a court order on Mr. M and have him committed to the state as incompetent because he is basically unconscious, and maybe some home health services out there for him. But they both decide that they're more concerned for the woman, and with good reason. She's been beaten pretty severely, and apparently this isn't the first time. But the issue is that unless she wants to press charges on abuse, we can't really do anything about it. It's not like a child protective services issue where we can just go in and take the child out of that situation. It's different because adults have their own say in what happens. So they say their goodbyes and they file a report, and we stay behind. We have a final word with the two, and we make sure that we let them know that we're going to be checking in on them regularly. So that is our case. Let me pull up my questions here. So the questions that I have for the class is, what more could the officer have done in this situation? Could he have pressed the issue a little more and maybe tried to convince Mrs. M to admit that she was being abused and maybe press charges. Curious to see what you guys think. My second question would be, how could one convince the mother to punish her son for his actions? So that kind of feeds off the first question that I was going into, because the woman doesn't want her son to get in trouble. That's her baby boy. It's understandable, but what he's doing is dangerous, especially at her age. The neglect and the abuse, both with Mr. and Mrs. M, is just unacceptable, and they could die from something like that. If he hits her in the wrong spot or the wrong way, it could really kill her. Because, like I said, he's a big dude, 6'6", 230 pounds, big guy, drinking a lot, really violent. It's just a bad situation for old people to be in. And then my third and final question is it okay to cross the line when it comes to the safety of an innocent person? So, I guess this question is really just to get to the bottom of what everybody thinks, because I'm genuinely curious about this. This case is actually quite interesting. Do you guys think it's okay to bend or maybe even break the rules to protect or save an innocent person? Let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching. Appreciate it.